I believe that we were all brought into this universe for a purpose. You exist for a very definite reason. If opportunity won't knock in your door, break them all.
Wow, thank you so much for your time, Cristina, Darren. Again, once more, it's an amazing documentary, which I like it a lot. And I think it's amazing the work that you guys do, because I always find new talent, new people, interesting stories. And I think it's amazing. I just want to congratulate you both first. And I want to start, how did you guys find out about these global student entrepreneur awards? Start from there. We can start with you, Cristina.
Yeah, I think Darren and I had so much fun making science fair, and we were so inspired by the kids that we met making that film. We both were, before making science fair, we both were investigative journalists, and basically our whole entire job was reporting on some of the darkest, saddest things in the world. So I think after spending 2-3 years talking about science fair kids, making that movie, we kind of caught a bug, and for happy things. And we were seeing a lot of the science fair kids that we had followed go into the world of business and try to turn their inventions into new projects. And we saw a lot of overlap between the kinds of person that goes into the science fair and the kind of person that becomes an entrepreneur. We think that it's way harder than most people, I think, would even know. Most businesses, what is it, Darren? Half of all businesses fail in the first 5 years?
Yeah, that's right.
And so we wanted to show and celebrate the kind of person that goes into entrepreneurship. And we found out about this competition, and we thought it would, bring joy in the same way that science fair brought joy to a lot of people.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching, and I got emotional some of the parts, especially with Henry's story and Daniela as well, both of them. But how you guys decide, I think this time around was more difficult to pick the correct subject. How did you guys decide to pick those 5 ones? Darren, you can tell me that.
Sure. On some level, it was actually easier for us because it's not as big as the International Science Fair. There's only, there's less than 100 kids that qualify for the GSEA finals, and they sort of they do a good job of finding these kids in their home countries and regions. And so for us, we basically were looking for a broad range of kids that sort of represented different corners of the globe and different stories, and had different sort of challenges, on their way to starting their businesses. But I think, the sort of common thread that runs through them all is that they were all sort of addressing issues. For the most part, they were addressing problems in their own backyard. Daniela's story is very much connected to the petrochemical industry coming out of Venezuela. And Henry's very much is a local issue in Kenya and Nairobi, but also in Africa writ large. And then, Santosh's story is just incredibly, compelling because it addresses, the migration of Nepalese out of Nepal into the sort of international workforce, and the sort of, the family dislocation and separation that happens because of it. And so, his business, I think we just fell in love with right away, just because of the emotional angle to it all that is beautiful on many levels.
Yeah, I think his business, I think, is amazing because he's bringing so much joy to everybody, and I thought that was super great idea. Maybe someone out there already had this idea, but I think it was amazing the way that he was doing it, and I think it's offering happiness. I think that it's nailed, and it's amazing. Also, Henry's story, I was he had a really good website, a really good story, and not to able to getting to Macau first time around, I felt so bad for him. I was like, oh my God, how did you guys handle that? Like, it was like unexpected, right?
Yeah, it was very unexpected. I mean, we were all ready to, welcome him and get to see him in Macau. And then, Darren, it was you, right, who got a text from Henry? Do you want to tell the story?
Well, yes. Between myself and the GSEA organizers, we got word that Henry had been deported, not to spoil, we'll see what happens, but we got an alert basically from other contestants who were arriving, other students who were arriving, had sort of seen sort of this happen, that Henry had been detained, and there was some sort of mystery about what was going on, but then he managed to get a text out to us and the GSEA organizers. And so it becomes a bit of a international madcap, I don't know, rescue mission to try to get Henry to pitch on time in Macau. And it was definitely a curveball, but you get thrown a lot of curveballs in production. And so we sort of rolled with it and just were hoping, because we had already sort of fallen in love with Henry by this point as a character and as a person. And we very much wanted to see him, have the opportunity to pitch his project.
Yeah, I'm glad he did. And how much, yes, and how much materials and how editing material you guys had, and how long did it take to, because this was before the pandemic, right? So how long did you guys spend doing the documentary?
Yeah, this one was relatively fast as it in terms of documentary terms, which is like maybe a year it took us from start to finish. But we had such a great time. The bulk of it was shot in that week in Macau, and we had, I think maybe the biggest crew we'd ever worked with. It was like 3 cameras, lots of people moving around, 4 cameras, 5 cameras, I can't remember. But it was a really hectic week, and that's where most of the drama unfolded. And but we had so much fun. There's something about the chaos of a competition that's unlike anything else. And no, it was a real privilege to be able to spend so much time with so many amazing, smart, brilliant kids who were trying to do something really huge. So it was a fun time, and fairly quick edit in documentary terms, but it all came together.
Yeah, and again, like this partnership with National Geographic, I think it's amazing. And how the partnership came after or before you guys did the documentary?
It came after, but we're really happy because obviously Science Fair was picked up by National Geographic, and we love the whole team over there. They're just an incredible group, and they're really supportive of the film, and just great to work with on every level. So we knew when we got word that National Geographic was interested, and we knew it was it found the best home possible between National Geographic and Disney Plus now. So yeah, I mean, we're ecstatic that our last 2 sort of kids in competition films landed on Disney Plus, via National Geographic. So we're fortunate.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, like, is there anything that you guys saw there aside from the subjects that what they are doing that it caught your attention while you're doing it? Like anything that was interesting that you can share with us?
To me, I'm always struck by the ingenuity and by the bravery of these kids. I think, our world is dominated by so many huge corporations and large brands, and it's easy to forget that, the small business is the economic engine of our world and of our country. They provide the most jobs. And there's something we admire so much about somebody trying to start their own thing. And, my parents are small business owners. They make rustic willow furniture in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My grandparents are small business owners. They had an upholstery company. And, we really wanted to celebrate this kind of person, and it's a really fun thing to be able to see so many brilliant minds who are going to have, you know, huge businesses someday, very successful, important businesses, and businesses that are focused on solving local problems. But to be able to see them at this stage in their life, in this stage in their business career, was really fun. You know, Daniela says that, like, she you know, there was so much about the business world she didn't understand. She's a scientist, and so she was really learning as she goes, which is fun to see, and fun that we were able to capture it.
Yeah, I think her story it's amazing, and I think she for sure now she's gonna have before this she will have a bright future. Now she's gonna have for sure she's gonna have a bright future. Darren, what was like the biggest challenge this time around?
I mean, the biggest challenge is always just trying to keep up with these people. I mean, like these kids, they're, you know, early sort of 20s, they got the whole life ahead of them. They got tons of energy. They're really enthusiastic about their ideas. And then you have to follow a whole bunch of them, you know, over a week in Macau, which is, you know, sort of the Vegas of Asia. So there's, you know, they're having a good time at the same time. They work hard, they play hard, and you know, as a camera crew, trying to keep up with them was a challenge. But at the end of the day, you know, it was, like Cristina said, you know, one of the most fun shoots, you know, that I've had the privilege of being on, just because the energy was always so great, no matter how tired you know, the subjects were, because they were, you know, working and pitching all day, and then going out and, you know, mingling with their, you know, competition and stuff like that. And you know, it was just, you know, we were going 24 hours a day for basically a week, and but you know, it's good fun. You feed off the energy of the subjects. So
yeah, they have a lot of, I think the mind and also the energy is so, I think it's great the way that they do, the way that they think is so different. Sometimes it was like, oh my God, how come nobody came up with this before, you know? And I think it's amazing. And are you guys already thinking about your next project? Can you talk a little bit?
I mean, I'm not sure we know what our next project is together. Darren and I are part of a production company, and actually our producer, Jeff Plunkett, produced this, and Science Fair is also part of our company, and Alex Simmons, who edited this, is also part of our company. And we have a lot of ideas in the works. We have a lot of projects in the works. I don't know, Darren and I co-directing. I'm not sure what that next project is, but yeah, we have tons of stuff. Anything we can talk about, Dee?
You got to stay tuned. I'm not at liberty to discuss my current project, unfortunately, but it is not about kids in competition.
Definitely not.
Subject matter. But yeah, I mean, you know, like Cristina said, like, you know, we are always working together, even when we're not working together, because we have you know, a shared production company where we're always developing projects together and bouncing ideas off of each other. So you know, the collaboration continues, and you know, we love working together and with our team.
Yeah.
So,
and our company, Muck Media, produces a series for NatGeo called Trafficked, which everybody's always working on. And Darren's wife, Mariana Van Zeller, is the correspondent for that series. So we have, you know, more Trafficked coming. And yeah, it's funny because we're business owners, but whenever we think about these kids, we're like, they're way better business owners than we are.
Yes, exactly. Traffic. I spoke to Mariana a couple of months ago about the series, which is also amazing. And I think I tell her she's one of the best in her field, and I love her too. Okay. So yes, I love.
We both can't agree more. And whenever people ask us how we met, we say we fell in love with the same woman, because I produced for Mariana before I met Darren, and then we met producing a documentary for Mariana. So she brings us all together.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you think, like, how much, like, not do you think, like, I think the question is how much the pandemic changed the way that you guys work?
Man, a lot, fortunately. I mean, I think, you know, we're fortunate that we've been able to kind of, you know, work through it all. And so, that's been great. And, like I said, we're super grateful to be able to push through during these, difficult times. But, documentary filmmaking and storytelling is about human connection, and it's hard to have that connection, through these screens. So, we're very much looking forward to getting back, to into the field and to connecting with subjects, and the industry as a whole, I think, is important for shining a light on what's going on in the world. So
yeah. And for you, Cristina, anything?
Shoots are always more difficult, and so much of what we do is filming is a team sport, and so you really have to play it differently, I guess, when we can't be in close proximity. So it's been difficult, but I think we're also excited that we're coming out of it soon, so we can all get back in the field in the way that we used to be. I mean, we're still filming, but it's just much different. There's a lot more masks and visors, and there's a lot more gear and a lot more to think about. So what were you gonna say, Dee?
Well, I was going to say we're also just super grateful for all the scientists out there and the innovators who made these vaccines possible that are going to return us back to normal. Thankfully, these science fair kids grow up to be entrepreneurs and come up with vaccines, like many of the vaccines that are out there. They started with young, brilliant minds like the ones in this film. So
right. Yeah, George Yancopoulos, who is the founder of Regeneron, which is the antiviral therapies, he competed in the science fair and won when he was in high school with technologies that led him down the path that allowed him to create the antiviral antibody therapeutics that he now uses. And so, not only was he a science fair kid, he was also an entrepreneur. And I think it's important, to have both sides of your brain, and it's great to see what's happened. It's great that scientists have saved us on this one, I guess I'll say.
Exactly. I just want to thank you so much, Darren, so much, Cristina, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Once again, amazing documentary. I cannot wait for the next project. Traffic is amazing. Mucho amor is amazing. I love it. So thank you so much. And
thank you. So great to see you.
Great to see you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you again.
Ciao.
Welcome to the Global Student Entrepreneur Awards. 51 different nationalities representing their countries as the top student entrepreneurs.
This is about who is going to sit here and wow this planet in the next 5, 10, 20 years.
Rumeto is an online marketplace for students.
I designed an app for deaf people communicate more easily.
It's about creating happiness. That's what we do.
He has an algorithm that can rate the babies crying, and he's very hot, so full package.
I had a technology where I could make synthetic chemicals, but with the sun.
This is a world-changing idea.
This is a competition where people can come from difficult backgrounds and still make it. My mom told me, you have a story that deserves to be heard. I'm so sorry.
Everybody that comes here wants to win.
The companies that exist right now were made by someone. So why can't that someone be us?
Growing up, I got bullied a lot. I did my best given what I had.
If they can do it, I can do it.
I learned don't give up, keep moving.
I finally did it. I did something good in my life.
They see us as girls that we don't really know what we're up against. So we're gonna prove them wrong.
And the award goes to...
If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.